Welcome to Indy's Real Estate Gurus, your ultimate guide to the dynamic world of real estate in Indiana. And I'm Rick Ripma, your hardworking mortgage guy, and I've been in real estate and mortgages for over 24 years.
And I'm Ian Arnold, a loan officer on Rick's hardworking mortgage team, and we are both with Advisors Mortgage Group. Together, we'll empower you with expert advice, market trends, and successful stories from guru realtors and local experts.
Whether you're a homeowner, investor, or pro, join us as we navigate the thriving Indy real estate market.
Now get ready to unlock the doors of success, one episode at a time.
We are really excited today. We have
Khush.
See, Khush. I told you, I can mess up anybody's name. That's just the way it is. So Khush, and you're with
Remax.
Yeah. So tell us a little about yourself. Introduce yourself to the audience. Let them know, your background, where you came from, where you went to school, those kind of things. Everybody wants to know.
Yeah, so my name is Khush. My full name is Kushvinder. I'm 21 years old. I go to IUPUI here in downtown Indianapolis. I was born in San Francisco, California, but we moved here back in '07 in Greenwood. So now I'm here in Indiana. That's where I grew up. And yeah, I mean, that's pretty much where I'm from. I recently started real estate while I was in college. And I'm a finance and accounting major. Those are just some things that I can throw out about myself.
Yeah. It's very interesting to me because we've worked with the youngest person that I've had on the show. They were a guru, but they started when they were like 17, 18 years old.
Yeah.
Right?
Uh-huh.
Now, some people, they came out of a family of real estate agents, so they pretty much did it their whole life, right?
Yeah.
But But we've had several people who started in college, and that presents a particularly difficult situation for you to get started in a career that's really not the easiest thing to get started in. But I want to know more of the story. First, I want to know, you grew up where in California?
Well, I was born there in San Francisco, and then we moved here. I was young. I was probably like 5 or 6.
Okay, so you didn't really grow up there. You grew up here.
Grew up here.
You grew up here, but you spent 5 or 6 years in California.
Yeah.
And then you moved here, and you moved to Greenwood.
Yep.
So you went to Greenwood High School?
I went to Whiteland
High School, okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then, that's where I'm at now.
I know it well. When I was doing my radio show, the radio station was right there near the school.
Oh,
so
awesome.
I drove by there about once a week.
That's neat.
Which is a long drive.
It is
every
from
week.
Here.
Every week. Well, we appreciate you joining us. I know it was a long drive. So how did you decide that you wanted to be in real estate?
Man, this is always a tough question for me. When I first thought about getting my real estate license, I had never it wasn't something that I had thought about to begin with. But it was probably when I was like 19 during COVID. I started 18, 19, I started getting really into real estate. I started learning more about the business. I started learning more just about business in general, and I was also a finance an accounting major just coming into college. And as I started learning more and more about it, I realized that I wanted to eventually own my own investment properties as I get older, and just get into that business. And I slowly started to realize if I'm gonna get into this business and I want to own these properties, I want to I'm always listening to podcasts and I'm always learning about this, and I was what better than to get my license and then do it on my own, and then as I have my license I can learn quicker and faster about these things. And once I had that thought in my mind, I realized this is a good thing that I can take advantage of, and even if it doesn't work out, it's $100 to get your license or something like that. So I was if I'm down a couple bucks from the drain, it's okay. And yeah, that's kind of how I got into it. It wasn't necessarily something that I had planned out to begin with, but as I guess it was a series of events that led up to it.
Okay, so there was a series of events, and it just seems you did it awful young, which is really kind of a cool situation, because you were young when you did it. You're still very young, at least to me.
Yeah.
But you've also done very well, and this is not an easy industry to get started in, and it's even more difficult when you're young.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So, and while you're going to school.
Oh, yeah.
So how are you balancing all that? How are you doing that?
Yeah. So It's really tough to balance it, but I think the best thing is to just making sure that you have a solid schedule. Like I know that I have classes Tuesdays and Thursdays, so I know that I need to arrange my schedule from the way my classes are set up. So Mondays are typically the days I'll be in the office, Mondays and Wednesdays. And I like to work out as well. So in the morning, first thing in the morning, I'll wake up, go to the gym, and then that's when I'll start my day, get my breakfast in and everything, and then I'll head to the office on Monday, do everything that I need to do, things that I have planned, whatever it may be. And then throughout the day, I'll continue my tasks, work on some schoolwork, and then Tuesday I'll go to call, classes, stuff like that. It's just kind of like you have to make sure you're balancing your schedule pretty well. I'm not really sure how I started doing it, but it's kind of like once I started to be more involved in real estate, I kind of had to just kind of wing it, like I would have to group some time into here and then some time into here and then kind of just figure out what works best. I don't necessarily know if I have like a great way of doing it, but like I'm not too sure how I would, explain it, but that's just kind of how I would go about it. Just making sure that you balance your time correctly, and making sure that you know what tasks need to be done. Having a schedule, a planner helps out really well as well, and I've noticed that's helped me, plan out my days as well too.
Yeah, it's just, it's amazing to me, and I respect you for being able to do it, because it's not an easy thing to do.
Yeah,
and it's really, you're learning just by what you just said, I can tell you're learning a tremendous amount about how to be successful in life.
For sure. That's the goal. I mean, that's what it's about. Like, I know it's tough to be in college and also doing real estate. Like, being in real estate, it's not something you can do part-time. It's something that you will have to put in a lot of hours and a lot of time into. And that's something I realized, that if you want to be successful, you're going to have to put in the time, you're going to have to put in the effort, you're going to have that drive. And I'm glad I've developed it early and still working on it, and hopefully I can, excel at it and make it better than it was before.
Yeah, so what would you, as you look at this, if there's let's say there's somebody looking to get into real estate, and maybe they're in the same situation, they're in college, what kind of advice would you give them?
Oh man, the advice I would probably give is that if you're thinking about it, just do it. Because I feel like I wasted a lot of time just thinking about if I should do it or not, like weighing the pros and cons. Like the best thing that kind of like affected me or touched me the most was that, like, I'm still young. I still have a lot of time, a lot of risk that I can take now and not, affect me in the long run. So like now is a good time to, test the things that you want to do, take the risks. Figure out what you like to do, what's best for you. And that's kind of, it was hard for me to realize that, but once I realized it, I feel way better about starting in real estate. Like, I wouldn't have been able to do the things I'm doing now if it wasn't for me just taking the initiative and just saying, like, screw it, I'm going to do it now. And if it works out, it works out. If it doesn't, there's always more other opportunities elsewhere.
Yeah, it's one of those things that, having lived a while, what you're doing now will make you who you are later.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
It's how it is. The decisions we make today, it's amazing to me to think one little decision that you make can change your entire life and those of everybody else. Let's take real estate, for example. Where somebody decides to live can change who their kids marry,
exactly,
who their kids' friends are.
Exactly.
It changes everything. You moving as a little kid from California to Indiana,
I could have been a completely different person.
Absolutely.
Like, growing up there, growing up here, there's, it's a different lifestyle.
Yeah, it's amazing. These little tiny decisions, that was a major decision, but little tiny decisions can change everything. And you're fairly brilliant to figure that out already. Mm-hmm. That's not an easy thing to figure out. And I still not sure I completely understand it, but I'm getting the hang of it. Absolutely. After 60-something years. But I just think it's a very interesting piece. I think your advice was great, and I really like your risk taking. One of the things you said is, well, whatever happens, and that's why I wanted, whatever happens is just going to happen, and that's why I want to say it. Yeah, it does, and it's going to make you who you are. Failure, everybody is worried about failure.
Exactly.
Right?
100%. Yeah.
We worry about it in everything we do. I don't want to fail here. I don't want to fail here. I don't want to fail here. The reality is you don't fail if you don't do anything.
Exactly. Yeah.
I have done tremendous amount of marketing and advertising, and I have failed more than I've ever succeeded in it. But I've learned a lot.
Yeah,
and I have
for sure.
had successes.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah, and that's the biggest thing. Like, regardless of what you do, you're gonna fail. There's gonna be times where you fail. Like, even if it's the smallest things, like an exam. Like, I can say right now, being in college, there's been exams that I've failed, and I've been so upset about it. But you just have to move on from it, learn from the mistakes you made, and then be better next time. Like, there's not really much you can do unless if you just go all in full force and just, do the best you can.
Yeah, I'd say school taught me how to fail because I was not a good student. So it did teach me how to fail.
I understand,
It was really, really helpful in my development of being able to handle failure.
For sure. Yeah, no, I can agree with that.
So what would you say your superpower or superpowers are?
See, this is one of those questions where I didn't know how to answer, but what I would say, it's not really like a superpower, I would say, but I'm easygoing, I'm really laid back, nice person and who has a lot of patience, I would say, and I feel like that's something that has brought me a long way. With a lot of things and especially being in this business, you have to have a lot of patience. And if you're not patient with things, then, it's not going to go your way. I realized that the hard way, but being nice, I guess, kind, I don't know the best word for it is like the way I like to see my superpower. Just like, I'm easy to approach, and like I can handle a lot of pressure under stress, or like being under stress or being under a lot of heavy type of emotions. But I guess that's something that I can say that is my superpower.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's amazing to me because everybody's different, but kind that's a very, very good superpower.
Yeah,
okay.
For sure. I try to keep it.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's times where you can't keep being kind, but you just have to stick to it. And
you can always be kind.
Yeah.
You can always be kind.
For sure.
It doesn't mean you have to be a pushover.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean any of that. But you can be kind while you might need to push a little bit.
Exactly.
That's okay.
Yeah, and there's going to be times where you have to push, but as long as you can still keep that, overall kindness and patience in you, then you're fine.
Yeah, and I think it's critical in real estate because it's a very high stress situation for the people you're working with.
100%, yeah.
It can be high stress for the real estate agents, both sides, right? It can be high stress for everybody, mortgage people.
Yeah.
And if you're kind with what you do, and you think about others, I think that's a huge superpower. I think that's
exactly because like your clients are making the biggest decision of their life potentially, or like it's going to be a big decision that they're making. So there's always going to be a lot of stress involved. So you have to make them feel like that it's going to be an easy, smooth sailing process, and kind of help them relax and let them know that it's going to be okay. You have to be there for them almost. It's a lot of emotions that goes into it.
Yeah. Well, if somebody is listening and they say, you know what, I want to work with him. What is the easiest and best way to get a hold of you if they have any real estate needs or questions?
Best way, probably my phone number, 317-478-7607. It's the best way to reach me. Call, text. I pretty much have my phone on me at all times. So even if you call me, or even if I don't get back to you, I will get back to you eventually.
Perfect. And if you need to get a hold of Ian or I, let's get it on the right camera. Ian or I, go to hardworkingmortgageguys.com. That's hardworkingmortgageguys.com. Or you can call us at 317-672-1938. That's 317-672-1938. Unfortunately, Ian had an emergency come up where he had to take care of something, so he is not able to join us today. Hopefully I can hold down the fort and it won't be, too difficult. So let's move on a little bit. It's hard because I really find what you do, the way you're doing things is very, very phenomenal. But let's say, what traits do you look for in a mentor or like a guide somebody like, I don't know if you know who Yoda or Mr. Miyagi is, but
Yeah.
somebody like that. Because I know you have that. You have to have it.
Yeah, for sure.
And talk about that. Talk about how you find that, what you have, how that's benefiting you and your clients by having these guru guides, mentors for you.
Yeah, so one thing that I look in a mentor, like I have two over at the office that really help me out, and without them, it probably wouldn't have been possible. A lot of things that I've done, but a couple of things that I would look in a mentor is just like for them to kind of guide me in a way, but not essentially give me all the answers. Like, say if there's a client who needs help in a specific area, I'm not going to if I don't know the answer, I'm not going to go to them and be like, hey, give me the answer to this. I'm probably, like, obviously I want the answer, but I also want to be guided on how I can find the answers and like for potential future clients, and also like just like a pathway of what I need to do, what I should expect, and how the outcome can turn out to be. Just things like that will kind of, help me in a way where I can explain it to the next person and not just give them the answer and not be able to answer any other questions that they might have.
Yeah, that's a great answer, because you're thinking it through.
Yeah.
You're not going to you want to know how to come up with the answer, so that you're basically, you want to learn how to fish, not just eat the fish.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right?
You want to be able to know how you can do it and then learn from it.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing.
Yeah. And in real estate, there's a lot of that comes up.
Yeah, for sure. there's a ton of that happens.
What would you say so far, what you've done, what was the most interesting thing that has come up, the most or difficult? What do you think is?
The most difficult thing, that's a tough question for me. I haven't had crazy amount of sales, but I guess the difficult thing would probably be like when they have questions about a specific thing on the property. There's a lot of people that you would have to reach out to if you don't know, and it'll be small things like where you might have to reach out to the city for this, or you might have to call this person for that, or you might have to like just small things like that, or just maintenance things. I feel like that's probably one of the biggest issues I've dealt with, and everything else kind of aligns with it. I don't know if that's a good answer, but
no, that's a great answer.
That's kind of where I'm at on that most difficult thing.
One of the nice things about what we do on this podcast is there is no wrong answer.
Yeah.
You're just telling us your story and what who you are. We think that's important, because we think people need to know who you are before they start working with you.
Exactly.
And you aren't really in real estate. You're in relationship.
Exactly.
Right? That's really what real estate is all about. It's all about the relationship. Mm-hmm. Yes, you have a product that you help somebody buy, mm-hmm. but it's all about the relationship you build.
Yeah.
And so how do you go about finding the clients?
Finding the clients. So even today I have struggles with this as well. I mean, especially with the market that we're in. The best way I've promoted is through social media, like cold calling. And whenever I'm in the office, I try to send out emails to clients that I've met with before, or we have a lead program within our office as well. And then whenever we have leads through there, I give them a phone call, leave them an email. But that's the hardest part, I would say, about real estate, is finding the client. Once you have the client and they're actually serious buyers, that makes it a little bit easier for you, because they're going to eventually buy, but you just have to help them figure out where they're going to buy, or what they're going to, where they want to go. But yeah, I feel like that's the biggest thing in real estate, having the networking and your social skills, being able to provide them the service that they need. But I feel like that was probably the best way that I go about it, is social media, phone calls, emails, texts, any way you can reach to someone.
Yeah. And it's not what we see on TV about real estate.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Yeah, nothing like that.
No. They're getting a client, and really getting the client is the hardest part.
Yeah, for sure.
That is by far, and it's really the job,
mm-hmm.
because you have to get the client. And so most agents, one of the ways they do it is obviously their sphere of influence. A lot of them have been very successful with social media, and you mentioned social media. So how are you using social media? How are you using it not only to get clients, but how do you use it to help promote a home, promote an open house, that type of thing?
Yeah. See, I love this question. I'd love to. Well, I still need to work on my my social media skills even today. But one of the things I do is whenever I have an open house, I will reach out to one of our social media graphics, and then they'll make the post for me, and then I'll just go ahead and put it out on Facebook, Instagram, wherever I can to promote it. And then the best things that I've realized that helped me a lot to pull those clients is making videos of going to or reaching out to listing agents and asking if you can record and promote their homes on social medias, and then I'll go there, kind of record the home, take pictures, and then promote it on Instagram, social media, TikTok, Facebook, anywhere you can, just to get that home some promotion, some traffic. And then once it gets that traffic, occasionally you'll get a phone call from here and there from people like saying that they're interested in it, and that's helped out a lot. Like, I tried to get in about 1 or 2 homes where I can go and record, promote on TikTok, so that way not only am I boosting myself on social media, but I'm also bringing in the clients. It's kind of like a one-stop shop almost. But that's the best way, I would say, is just getting the pictures out, getting videos, getting social media graphics, open houses, just spam as much as you can, but not to the point where it's annoying to your clients, but enough to where you can get the attention that you're looking for.
Yeah. Now there's a lot of agents who tell me that do a lot of social media, that they do a lot of it on properties, but they also put out like personal or not just real estate related. Do you do some of that too?
Yeah, so I have a page just for my personal, and then I also have a page for my business.
Okay.
So that way, if someone wants to follow me on the business and they only want to see real estate stuff, they can just go to the business account.
Okay.
And if it's my personal stuff and they want to know more about me, then they can go to my personal and follow me there, or vice versa.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I think it's vital that you have that in today's world. Although I will say that there are many, we find it interesting that a lot of the agents we talk to, you have to have social media, or that's all I do, that's how I get all my business. And then you talk to, and they're gurus.
Yeah.
And then you talk to another agent and they go, I don't do any social media, don't really understand it, and they're gurus.
Yeah.
Okay. Because there's different ways to get clients.
Yeah.
But in today's world, the easiest way to get your information out there in the least expensive way is to use social media.
Exactly. You just kind of have to find out your niche on what works best for you. There's some people who don't like social media, and there's some people who do, but it really just depends on what works best for you, I would say.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I work hard at it, but I actually have somebody who does it for me, because so believe it or not, the internet wasn't around when I was a kid.
Oh, man. Yeah.
I was about your age when I got my first computer.
Oh, my gosh.
I bought an Apple IIe. My little brother and I bought an Apple IIe. I don't think we ever actually learned how to use it.
Oh, my gosh.
They were a lot harder back then.
I've seen pictures of them. And they're always so interesting in what they look like and how far we've came. Like, it's crazy to see what we started with and what we have now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what I think what's interesting is Steve Jobs. He cared as much about the way the computer looked as the way the computer worked.
Exactly. And like if you have that like unique look to it, people are going to, become more intrigued and trying to figure out like what is the hype around it. Like
yes.
Like for example, Tesla and their new Cybertruck or whatever. Like everyone, it's causing a lot of like opinions out there. A lot of people are saying they hate it, a lot of people are saying they love it, but there's going to be that group who is going to buy it and then, cause that like kind of like traffic more towards it. And it's nice how they design it and the way it works and things like that.
Yeah. Well, there's one thing about using social media that you kind of hit on that you just have to, if you're going to use it, you just have to know, is there's going to be some people who like it. There's going to be some people who hate it.
Yeah.
And you're going to get people, I don't know what it is about our world today that everybody wants to give their opinion.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they want to downgrade people.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, nowadays with the society we're growing up in, it's like when they see someone doing better than them, or I guess just well overall, they're going to want to say something about it or just put them down. And that's something I've, kind of dealt with too as well. But the best thing that's worked for me is just blocking out the noise. And
yeah. I
know that like I'm doing what I like to do, so I'm just going to continue doing it. And if someone has a problem with it, I'll just push them away and just keep doing what I like to do.
Yeah. And that's best attitude because
Yeah.
it just is what it is, and it's not your issue, it's theirs, and
Yeah.
you just move on.
Yeah.
And it's too bad because you'd like to help them,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah.
Because that the world is really much better if you look at it in a positive outlook and you give, like you said, you're kind.
Yeah. I try my best.
Yeah, that's important. So when you look at your career, since you're just starting out, what makes you think, this is going to be a great career? What are you excited about in the career?
It's a tough question there. I have a lot of things I want to do. Like with me being in college, I want to eventually become a CPA and run my own firm there. But also on the side, I still want to continue doing my real estate. And just thinking about those two things just makes me excited in general. And then also, like in the future, I know that once or if these take off, I can use the capital, the funds I make from this to, towards my investment properties, flips I want to do in the future. Just thinking about those things and just knowing that I have the potential to do it makes me, excited. And knowing that I can do it just, gives me that drive, gives me that power that I know that if I play my cards right and if I continue to do the things I'm doing, staying stoic, staying, just passionate about what I like to do, then things will eventually work out, and that's something that drives me the most.
Yeah, it's amazing. You have your outlook is much older than you are. Okay, you have a really good outlook on life, and you kind of get an idea of how it's going to play out.
Yeah.
Your plans, though, they don't always play out the way you want them.
Yeah, for sure.
But what you do today affects what
exactly.
what happens
and that's
tomorrow.
the biggest thing. Like me coming here to this podcast, if I hadn't come, I'd probably be doing something different that would have led to a different, outcome. So
Right.
It's like even the smallest things will always lead you to completely different outcomes. And
Yeah.
it's tough to understand, but you always have to keep it in mind for sure.
Yeah, you do. You always have to keep it in mind because everything you do matters. We talked about that earlier. Everything
Exactly.
you do matters. So what do you like most about real estate at this point in time in your career? What is it you go, wow, I just really like this piece of real estate?
That one piece would probably have to be just the amount of people that I can network with and meet. There's always been so many new people that I've met, so many new connections, so many new friends, and people that I never thought I'd be friends with. And now that I've joined the real estate community, now that I've met all these new people, not only are they people that I work with in business, but also people that that I've made friends with, and that I can actually go out to with social events and things like that. I think that's the biggest thing, that I've met all these new people. I've met so many people who do so many different things, and now I have so many people to reach out to as well. If I have something that I want to try, or a business venture, I can reach out to them and get input from them and help from them as well. So that's just the biggest thing, just networking, getting more contacts in your phone, things like that has been by far the best thing for me.
Okay, so let's move. Let's learn a little bit more about you. So let's say, you have a day where you aren't allowed to do any schoolwork.
Mm-hmm.
You aren't allowed to do any real estate.
Mm-hmm.
You aren't allowed to answer your phone for real estate or schoolwork.
Yeah.
What would you do for fun?
Probably just hang out with my friends. I mean, well, if I don't have my phone, I can't respond. But
well, yeah, you can hang out with your friends. That's okay.
Hang out with my friends, going to work out, playing basketball, things like that. I tried, whenever I do have some downtime, I try to, get some basketball in there, or just, go out, do some things I like. I have a motorcycle. I like to ride it on the weekend, whenever I've got some time. So just, that's what I like to do on my free time.
Okay. So what kind of motorcycle?
It's a Kawasaki Ninja 400.
Okay.
It's a bike that is good for starters. It's like a sports bike, but it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I bet it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a 400, so it's
nothing crazy.
Not
but
crazily fast,
yeah.
but it's still going to be pretty
yeah,
fast.
it gets a kick out of it whenever whenever you take it out. But I eventually want to upgrade one day, so hopefully we can do that. But obviously with the winter coming up, it's going to be harder to ride. But
Yeah.
Colder
to ride.
You
can still do it.
Still do it, yeah. But it's probably not a good idea.
You ride snowmobiles. Yeah, it's snow on the ground, you don't want to do it. Or ice on the ground, you don't want to do it.
No way.
Yeah. I have one of my very good friends. He loves motorcycles, and he has two.
Uh-huh.
And he has a Ducati.
Oh my gosh, that's my dream bike.
And he has a Kawasaki 750 or something. I don't know. And he said the reason he has two is he can't. he can't decide which one he would get rid of.
Yeah, it's
He
tough.
likes them both for different reasons.
Yeah, like I think the 750 would be more like a cruiser type vibe, or more like it still
He
has
said
a lot
it's
of
more
speed.
fun to ride.
More, yeah, a lot more fun to ride. Yeah, and then the Ducati is more like sports oriented bike. Yeah.
Yeah, he
So
said you can't even lay it down. It
yeah.
won't let you.
There's no way. Yeah. I mean that is one of my dream bikes for sure. It's a lot of fun for
Yeah.
getting in the bikes, but yeah, they all have their own purposes.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've never ridden. I've ridden bikes, but I've never owned a bike. And I watched somebody have a really bad accident on a bike, and that ended
Yeah.
my career of ever wanting one. But partly because I know me,
Mm-hmm.
and I love that acceleration.
Yeah, once you start accelerating, it's almost like you don't want to stop. And then
Yeah.
when you're going, you end up going so fast to the point where you look down and you don't realize how fast you were
Yeah.
already going. And yeah, that's one of the biggest things I had to think about as well. Like getting a bike, there's a lot of accidents you can get into. You know, you have to be just very careful, because even the smallest turn or wrongdoing on the road can result in a terrible accident. So you just have to be very careful. And once I realized that, you know, I haven't rode as much as I used to, but still here and there on the weekends.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and it's kind of hard this time of year to ride too much anyway.
Yeah.
So if somebody's listening, they go, gee, I want to work with him.
Mm-hmm.
What is the best way to get a hold of you if they have any real estate questions or needs?
Yeah, best way, probably my phone number, 317-478-7607, or social media. I'm on Instagram. I use that probably more than Facebook. It's KHUSHJPG. So at Khush JPG is my Instagram. But
How do you spell Kush?
KHUSH.
Okay.
Yep. KHUSHJPG is my Instagram, and then you can go there. And then I haven't posted too much on there, but I plan to post as I work on my careers. I'm still fairly new, so we'll see how far I can take this.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think you're going to go a long way if you if you stick with it. And you were recommended because somebody in real estate who's a guru said he's going to make it.
That's awesome.
And he's good.
And it makes me, so happy to know that there's people out there who have that belief in me. Like, it kind of drives me to know that there's people out there who see me, that they know that they think that I can do good, and it kind of helps me in my morale that someone else thinks I can do good. So why shouldn't I think the same way? You
Right.
know?
Yeah, because a lot of times everybody has self-doubt that kicks up,
Oh, yeah,
right?
100%.
And you just have to work through it.
Yeah.
You just have to ignore it, move on, because everybody has it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And you'll have it your whole life. It doesn't matter how successful you are. Even super successful people still have it.
Yeah, it's going to be there. And I mean, it's probably not going to be in business all the time. It could even be in your personal life.
Absolutely.
It's going to be there always.
Yep. And to get a hold of Ian or I, go to hardworkingmortgageguys.com. That's hardworkingmortgageguys.com. Or you can give us a call at 317-672-1938. That's 317-672-1938. Now, you can call that number. That is not a text. It's best to go to our website at hardworkingmortgageguys.com. You can get all of our contact information right there. And we're going to move on, and we're going to talk about our question of the week.
Okay.
And our question of the week, and this I hope you have one. What was your first car?
My first car. Well, I haven't bought one on my own just yet because my parents, I'm blessed enough to be provided a car, but it was a 2017 Toyota Camry is what I drove to back and forth.
Okay. Do you still have that?
We still have it,
Okay.
yeah. But now I'm driving a Tesla.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you have a Tesla now.
Yeah.
Your parents provided you.
Yeah, I'm blessed enough to.
Yeah, it is
have been
blessed.
given
That is really
have been
good.
given that opportunity. It was more of like a graduation / birthday gift / like going into college gift. So we had a car before that, but then we saw that there were Teslas out there. There's an option for not having to get gas every week. So they were like, we need to get a car anyways, and if we want to save some money, we can get that. And I was like, who wouldn't want to take
Which
a Tesla?
model?
It's a Model 3.
Okay.
Yeah, just the standard, but it's been a good car to me.
Yeah. How do you like it?
It's amazing. I love it.
I can tell how you smile when you talk about it, how much you like it.
I love it. It's a lot of fun, and it does get that kick to it too. Like they're pretty fast cars.
They're fast.
Yeah, they're the plaids. I think
They're
the
ridiculous.
Model S Plaid. Those are insane. I think it's like 1.9 seconds for 0 to 60. I want to sit in one of those and see how that feels. But they got some kick to it, and then it's cool. They have those little gimmicks and games in them that you can play while you're parked up or waiting, and then it even has like Netflix and stuff in it, so you'll never be bored in that car.
Yeah. Yeah, I noticed the first time I really saw one that I thought, wow, that'd be kind of cool. As I was driving, it was at night. Went by it, and the screen, it was like a 52-inch TV.
It's
wasn't that big,
massive,
but it's
yeah.
massive. It's like, wow, that is incredible. And I thought, why don't all cars have that?
Exactly.
Why only electric car? Does it need that? Does it need the extra batteries in electric? Doesn't make any sense.
I don't know. I feel like that's like a trend that's been with all the cars that are coming out that are electric. They all have these big huge screens in them, but the normal gas cars, they don't. I don't know if it's like just something that only the electric cars can have, or I'm not
I don't
too
either.
sure,
It doesn't make sense to me because I love that.
Yeah, it's neat.
I mean, I have 4 screens in my office, right? My biggest screen in my office is a 65-inch, right? I like big screens.
Yeah.
And I don't want a 65-inch in the car, but I want a nice big screen.
Yeah.
So those cars, you were talking about the speed. Now, if you can't tell, I really like cars.
I can tell with all the going on in the room.
Most people get the idea that I'm a car guy. I was watching a show on it, and they had a Tesla, and I think it was an S. It wasn't a Plaid.
Okay.
And it wasn't. It was the one that the doors come up like this.
Oh, the X, the Model X.
Yeah, and it raced a Lamborghini.
Yeah, and it probably beat it.
It beat it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those cars are insane. But the one thing I do miss is probably the sound. When you're driving, it's dead silent. It's quiet. But I wish it had that that roaring V8 or whatever behind you. But that's
all they got to do is put some speakers in it and put a good tape.
There you go.
Good
Yeah.
sound in it. It's funny because the Japanese bikes did that. They wanted to mimic a Harley, so they back on a house.
I don't.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's the numbers they used were ridiculous.
Yeah.
We ran that scenario in Cleveland, okay, which is they said was the worst market. All right. So we just took a house in Cleveland and we ran that scenario. One of the things they didn't use is you had to pay to live somewhere.
Yeah.
Right? They didn't even have that factored in. So we factored in very conservative numbers. And we found even in Cleveland, which was the worst market they said there was, even in Cleveland, it only took a couple of years to get to break even after you sell the house, or after you own the house, even if you wanted to sell it. And after like 15 years, you're $80,000-$90,000 ahead.
Yeah.
All right, because you not only are you gaining appreciation, you're paying down the mortgage.
Exactly, and like it's just essentially an investment. Like
Yes.
you're buying a home not only just to live in it. Well, I mean, obviously you needed somewhere to live, but you're gonna make money off of it. So I mean, like it's a great thing to do. And like a lot of people who rent, I feel like they should also look into that as well.
Yes. Well, if somebody is out there, and this will be the last time I ask you, if somebody's out there, they want to buy or sell real estate, they want to talk with you, what's the best way to get a hold of you?
Yeah, the best way, my phone number is 317-478-7607. You can call, text, whatever you may please. My email is kushvinderkailey02@gmail.com. And you can also reach out to me to my Instagram or Facebook. My Instagram is KhushJPG, KHUSHJPG. And my Facebook is just my name. You can just look it up and you'll find me. And that's the best way.
All right. And you said you also do a lot of TikTok. I
try to. TikTok is, it's like a short form or a short platform. It's like YouTube, but, instead of
How do they get there? Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Instead of it being like 10-minute clips, it's like a minute or 30 seconds. But if you can, my username on there, I think it's just Kushvinder2. This is just my name on there. But yeah, so if you're looking for me on TikTok as well, it's just Kushvinder2, or you can just look up my name and I should pop up.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. That's probably the easiest way, isn't it?
Yep.
Yep. And if you want to get a hold of Ian or I, go to hardworkingmortgageguys.com. That's hardworkingmortgageguys.com. Or you can give us a call at 317-672-1938. That's 317-672-1938. And we want to, if you follow us on any of the social medias, for that way you won't miss out on any of the Indies Real Estate Gurus. We'd love to have you as a following us, or and also if you would like it, we'd certainly appreciate that, or any reviews, that would be excellent. We would appreciate that also. Well, Khush, I really appreciate you coming in today.
Yeah, of course. Thank you for having me.
You're really interesting. I love what you're doing. I think you have a phenomenal attitude, and I think you're going real far.
My pleasure. I really appreciate that.
I think you're going to do great.
Branch NMLS number 33041. Rick Whitman's NMLS number 6645890. Ian Arnold's NMLS number is 1995469. Equal housing opportunity. Some restrictions apply.